Here we are again.
Are we live again?
Yay! You
Okay.
made it back.
Yay. Hopefully, I mean, there's nobody watching yet. Hopefully, we get, we at least get Maggie back. Hopefully.
I hope
maybe.
so.
I don't know who the other person watching was.
Yeah, so here we are again. Lindsay.
Yes. And Michelle.
It's ADHD How To and WTF.
All right. Hopefully we get the people back. But so the reason I was saying that I wanted us to keep going is so I felt like we started going like on a really good path as far as the tips and strategies, but also how ADHD, how cortisol and all of that, how much it impacts pain, your stress. It can impact every aspect of your life. Like I said, your relationships, even in traffic.
Oh,
how
very much so.
You respond to your kids. I'm like writing because my brain is going 1,000 miles an hour.
I think you're shaking the thing.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Or you can put it in your lap and then.
Yeah. So I was writing down, like, it popped in my head, like, about pain, how it can help control your pain. But yes,
it is.
We also, though, I'm looking at the wrong place. We also, right while I was getting it plugged in, before we had started recording, we were talking about RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria. We've talked before about how it presents just with rejection sensitive dysphoria is an intense feeling of sadness or rejection to even perceived rejection or criticism. It's like an intense pain
Super
that
intense.
you feel, and perceived is the word. But we were talking about how it also can present in ways that you wouldn't typically think of. Meaning, do you want to give the example of your friend?
I'll give an example of my best friend moving out of my house. That seemed to kickstart something in me that I just thought, this is so weird. Why is this happening? And it was like not myself, but it was hurt. And it was like, what's going on? And it just felt like a little bit argumentative. Like, I'm like, hey,
So meaning you were, okay, so she was so upset by her friend moving out. So even though it wasn't because you guys had a fight, she moved out because she was getting married.
Right.
It's still
moving on and out, which was like, duh, of course she is.
Yeah, but it was unconsciously, because it made you so sad, but it still felt like your body took it your nervous system took it as rejection.
Mm-hmm.
And then because you act out the most on the people that you're the most comfortable with,
right, it
came out as kind of like pettiness, snarkiness, anger.
I think so.
Little comments, passive aggressive towards
wow.
her.
Yeah, I think so.
But if someone were to say, like, why are you being such a shithead about her? You'd be like, I'm not. Because you're not consciously doing it. And so when she was explaining, like, how she had another friend that did that.
Right. So, like, similar situation. Yes, that's exactly. But it seemed a lot worse. And, of course, and then they did it to me. That's right. They did it to me when I was moving out of a place that, this was obviously before diagnosis. And, of course, there was a lot of coping mechanisms going on with alcohol. So and smoking. It was a bad situation. And then add in, you're leaving me. Are you going to talk to me again? Ever? Well, yeah, of course I am. And so I was like I was defending myself every single night. And to the point of exhaustion where I had decided, okay, whatever this is going on is not going to happen. I was like,
and that's just a friendship. That's not even a romantic.
That's right.
Just relationship. It can happen with families. I told you it's happened with my family before. I know it happens with a lot of people. They're, especially if you move away from, your parents, your mom might guilt you or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
You're abandoning me. You're whatever.
Of course, what would have been like, hey, why are you being such a to that person? Don't you love them? And then it's that's kind of like that misdirect that we were talking about when we're talking about impulse control of why something happens, where it's like if we're redirecting, hey, isn't that your best friend in the whole wide world? Well, yeah, man, I love them so much, and like blah blah blah. But right, does that make sense
Yes,
to you?
no,
How that
it
kind of
goes. It
overlaps?
absolutely yes, and it goes back to that with the RSD. You have to be able to stop, and sometimes it takes an outside person going, okay, well, what are the facts? What is true? You are in your mind, whether or not you ever articulate it, you're upset. You're like, they moved out, like what you're thinking about, what you're focused on. They moved out. They abandoned me. Now, what am I going to do on my Friday nights? Who am I going to spend this with? Blah, blah, blah. You're hurt. And so you're lashing out. But if someone were to go, well, what are the facts? The actual facts are my best friend met an awesome guy. They're getting married. Naturally, we're not going to live together anymore. She's starting this new wonderful life. Like those are the facts. That's not what your heart and your mind and your nervous system are responding to, though. And so sometimes it takes those things being pointed out, and sometimes, even being written out so that you see them and go, oh my gosh, I am being kind of selfish. When you were talking about that, even though that's just a friendship, magnify that by like 1,000 in relationships, which goes back, everything goes back to the attachment type.
Of course, that scares me even worse. So.
The anxious attachment type with the RSD.
But it's okay. It's not easier, but in a way, it seems like it would be easier if it was a partner, because a friend is like your best friend, and you would think like, yeah, but if it's a boyfriend or something you're kind of like, you know what, kick them, right? But you're like your best friend. There's no way. Like I wouldn't give up.
Mm-hmm. It does make it harder. I've been in situations where it is harder to. You just made me think of that. It is harder to cut off a friendship than it. I didn't even think about that till just now.
It totally is, though. But that's
to cut off a friendship, because like you can't. There's never going to be a divorce with a friendship, and when it's a friendship and there's no, I'm not trying to be whatever.
Well, and I did have to cut that friendship off because of what happened, because of how every night was a fight. It was a fight, and of course, yes. I wasn't thinking, oh, I don't even sleep with you. That didn't.
That's what I was about to say.
But
you were able to then reconnect again.
Yes, later, of course.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I'm not trying to be whatever, but when there is no sex involved and there's not that intimate factor,
mm-hmm.
It does make it harder to then think of a friendship like ending or dissolving, like for good.
Well, and
because you're like, but hey, I don't even that's not what I want from you. That's not like, you're not wanting. I've been in this situation several times, but it's like, especially like I've had guy friends, but then I've had girlfriends too, which obviously this is like, I don't want a commitment from you. I tell my girlfriend, like we're not dating, but the thought, like I've had girlfriends that, we've been friends for 20, 30 years, and we've gone through like lulls, but we always end up coming back.
Right. That was my ride or die. That's how it was. Like just.
Yeah. And it's that there is no divorce. There is no cheating. Like you or, my friend, she cheated. Mm-hmm. There's none of that. There's no way to get hurt in that way. And so it does make it so much harder to me,
especially if you tell them everything, and you know what I mean, like
that's what I mean,
really
not just a random schmo, just random like knucklehead schmuck, but
right, in my situation, we're talking about childhood best friends that were like they're lifelong until, unfortunately,
I think it could be anybody, like anybody that you have had, like I don't even think you have to know them very long. Anybody that you have had like a
connection, just a connection, a good.
Yeah, and I don't even mean, I'm not
like soul sister connection.
Yeah, it's also like it doesn't. I don't mean romantic at all, but that like we're, for whatever reason, like if you ever, like a lot of women do this, and even some, I have some guy friends that do this. That, when you meet them and Matt's like, you do this to people, you draw this out of people, they will tell me their life stories within the first 5 minutes. You know, I'll go see a new hairdresser. I'm kidding, Haley. I do not go to I'm looking at the wrong place. I do not go to a new hairdresser. I would not do that to you, boo. But I'll meet someone and then Matt will be like, oh, how was it? Whatever. And I'm like, yeah, they were abused when they were 5 and their mom abandoned them and they,
like, I know their whole life story.
This and this and, blah, blah, blah. And they've been, divorced 47 times. And he's like, and you got all that in an hour of meeting? I'm like, yeah, people just tell me. But I will then reciprocate. So if you
like
have somebody,
you intuit them.
I do.
So,
well, a lot of times too,
you already know.
I already know. A lot of times it's a God thing where I'll be like, I got you blocked.
Definitely, yeah.
But when you do have those connections with people, I mean, and you have shared too, especially if you have shared like very, very intimate things. Like I have some girlfriends. I'm like, dude, if I get in a car wreck and I don't think I'm gonna make it, you delete our chats immediately. Like it could ruin some lives. My chats. I'm kidding. I delete everything instantly. But sorry, Matt. But yeah, a lot of people's feelings would probably be hurt.
Actually, what you were talking about, how you intuit, well, we talked about intuit people. I just had to say that this is a really funny part of, if you watched our last week's video where I just go completely blank when we're trying to talk about myself, I have the opposite happen where I do meet people and guess what? I vomit my life on them and it's totally inappropriate or whatever. But I have to say
to the right people, it's not
right people, it is not. But when you think of it as like, hey, where I was just like unable to even grasp anything in my life of how I got here, like that was last week. But then all of a sudden, like, there's the other side of me where it's like, exactly, I reach out to people that same way. And I'm like, wow, because I saw the way this person acted to that person. And I saw that. And then I go and talk to them. And I'm like, I'm like, are you okay? Like you can just tell. And then you're just like, you just tell them the stuff they're telling you. And
well, see, that's another thing. And I still have a hard time, and I almost feel like I need to preface it every time I do it. If someone starts to share something that is going on with them, and it's an ADHD thing, and it's part of being an empath, I will instantly say something about myself to try to relate. And it comes across as, oh, I'm trying to make it about me.
Right. Well, the wrong people, that's what they see. That's right.
Yes. And
you're always trying to take over the conversation. You're like, I'm just trying to relate to what you just said. And I think I know, but maybe I don't.
Yeah. My whole thing, and it was subconscious, but then I was able to put words to it. And it's I am feeling you so deeply right now. And I want you to know how much I understand that I'm trying to share something in my own life, just like you're being vulnerable and you're telling me this thing. I want to instantly reciprocate by sharing something just as vulnerable with you, almost like we're exchanging currency.
Yes.
And this is my way of
exchanging
making sure
energy, because at the same time, you're either going to be like, how did you get out of that? How can I help? This can help. That can help. Like there's
it's
always
funny that's the word that you use, because that's the word you use, because I've been having a hard time lately. Like I'm almost nervous to use the word energy, because I feel like that people would take that like it's being sacrilegious. I don't mean energy like
energy.
No. I mean, like we do have like spiritual energy, like your vibes or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but I've been very nervous about using that particular word. So I'm glad that you did.
Don't worry about it.
I'm overthinking it.
It's so, there you go.
I'm overthinking it, but it does, like, this whole way I can describe it is there's
an energy. There's a connection.
Spiritual energy.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I've had to tell my girlfriends and stuff before. I'm like, look, I know it seems like every time you tell me something, I instantly respond with a similar story. It's not me I don't ever want to elaborate.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to one up you. I'm trying to relate.
I'm trying to show you, look, this is me coming like a cat that brings like a mouse inside. Like, here you go. Look, I'm trying to go, look, I hear you. I see you. I feel you. I am with you in this moment. And I want to reciprocate you being so vulnerable and sharing this with me by doing the same for you. Like,
Well
you
said, though.
continue,
Very
like,
well
you
said,
continue
yes.
with yours. And if
Yes.
I have anything that I can relate, or if I want to go, this is how it turned out positively for me. I'm never going to elaborate if mine went to shit, you know, if theirs hasn't yet, because I'm just not going to do
Right,
that.
I'm with you. No, because you are on the journey with them and you're listening to them, because for you to project something else on them when they're not even done
Yeah.
telling their story, right? That's
Or I mean, I would never, unless theirs is already gone to shit, and we are trying to, then I want to help them navigate how to get out of it.
right. Then you're sitting there with it and be like, oh, I
Yeah.
was in that too, and this is
Mhm.
this is how I climbed out, you know, or my
If
shoes still
someone-
stink. No.
Yeah, no, if someone,
Yes, that's
I
right.
feel like if someone
I love that.
opens up to you like that and shares something that like that with you, then it really is like, to me, it's a gift and an honor that they trusted me with that. And so I want to I want to take it and kind of like, okay, well, this vulnerable thing that you just gave me, I'm going to hold on to it. And until I think it's okay, until I feel like you're okay, I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to protect it, protect you. I want to help you work through it. I want to help you get better. I will not let this thing go
Mm-hmm.
until, this sounds so lame, until my soul feels like your soul is
Okay.
yeah,
Good. Well,
is okay.
Well,
Then we'll put it over here. But the worst thing, especially when there's people, my lips are like so dry because I can tell that I'm like getting really passionate.
I
I
love
think-
that. I love that even more. No, that's fine. Well, you connect with people like that a lot.
Some people,
Well, you say some, but
Yeah.
well, I guess I just mean,
well,
I
some
mean-
people more than others. I do. It's because
I'm like, how did we get started? I'm
I'm
kept
very
oversharing. That's
I'm
what.
very intrusive. not nosy, like somebody's talking about their finances, and I'm like, you know, like, oh girl, you need to quit going to Bed Bath and Beyond so much.
Yeah, that
Didn't
place
that shut down?
That place stinks. Oh,
Oh, that's Bath and Body Works.
wait, what?
Whatever.
Oh,
Just
I
a
know I
stand
was trying to
store.
make like a
No.
joke.
Yeah, I
about
was
it.
just saying a stand store. Not like that. But if I even get a whiff, and it can be a stranger, if I even get a whiff that something is off, that something, if what's kind of during allergy season, I don't think I've looked at the camera once lately. I've just been looking off.
I'm looking at the castle over there.
During allergy season, it is the worst time for me because anybody's eyes that look glassy, it can be a stranger on the street. If somebody's eyes look glassy or they look red, they got impulse control.
Yeah, so you're drawn to them? Is that what it is?
I will instantly go, "Are you okay?" And I can tell if they're lying.
Allergies.
I can, and they'll be like, "It's allergies," and it takes me a second. I have to like look. I have to be able to look into the person's eyes, and if I can tell that they're not lying, then I'm like, "Okay, all right." Like I just wanted to check. I know it's weird that I asked, but almost it's only been one time. But it was a guy that he had his head down. We were at Arby's, and this guy, he must have been like in his 40s, I guess, but he was sitting at a table and he had his head down, but he was by himself. He was there for a really long time, but he didn't have his eyes closed. So I went over and I was like, "Sir," I was like, "I'm not trying to be weird. Like, are you okay? And he's like, "Yeah." He didn't work there. It's not like he was waiting on his shift to start.
I like the way you did that, because that would be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I would be like, I was just checking.
Yeah, and then, but I was like, okay. I said, I'm not trying to be weird. If there was something going on, I'm like, it's only us in the restaurant, like my family and this man. I wasn't gonna, be like, well, hate it if you're going through something. I'm just gonna let it happen.
Right.
Ugh. But so only one time, and he was like, "Yeah, you can leave me alone."
He's
Okay.
like, yeah, that's what.
Such a jerk about it.
That's
But,
okay though.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, we lost the viewer. Maggie, are you still there? We lost somebody. We have one person watching. Maybe it's still Maggie. I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but we're glad you're here. Thank you.
Whoever it is, we're glad that you're here. I keep looking at the wrong place. We were going, and that's why I wanted to keep.
Right.
That's
So
why
we
I
were
wanted
talking
to
about.
because I felt like we were on a really good thing, and I felt like we had so many distractions before because
There are still distractions.
we were trying
That
to get
one's open.
stopped from talking about the. Oh no! How understanding all this can really positively impact every aspect of your. Oh no! I remember what it was
Yeah,
now.
what
What
is-
it made me think of.
Okay.
This Charlie Kirk thing is a perfect example.
All right.
The ugliness, the people that are going online and being so nasty about it. I think there's just a lot of evil and stupidity,
Yes.
but I think impulse control, not in an excuse way,
Okay.
impulse control, meaning there are so many people that are influenced by social media,
Mhm.
by the news, things like that in regards to, let's look at like if it was cause and effect. I think so many people were young people saw that Chuck Mangione or whatever his name is that killed that United Healthcare CEO. The response that the online community in I'm not going to make this a political thing. I'm not going to be like the left, whatever.
No,
We're
you're
just
trying
gonna
to
say-
explain.
We're just saying the
Talk
online community as a whole. The reaction that the online community had, they turned him into this modern day hero. Not everybody, so many people applauded him, and he did. He became this this vigilante hero, which is such a disgusting thing to say because he killed someone. And like him writing the things on the bullets and all that. So I think that so many people then latch on to that popularity, that feeling of this is what's hip, this is what's cool, this is what people are watching, this is what gets views, and that creates dopamine
Yes.
because it makes them jealous because they then want to be a part of that.
Okay.
And so
No, that is true. Just recently,
Then-
I heard something where this, like versus alcohol, this is unfiltered. You can get it anywhere, and this is a source of dopamine. as
it's
far
an
as-
incredible source of dopamine, and that is
And-
number one.
and you give it to kids. So
Porn
what
addiction.
makes sense about what you're saying about how people are idolizing this is because this is such a big addiction.
It's such a dopamine, and like I said, I blame,
Drink
not blame, but it's
over there.
cell phones. There would not be as huge of a porn addiction issue in the world if it were not for cell phones, because if you had to wait till you got home to get on your laptop or whatever, if it was not instantly like, hey, I could literally be driving and
Right. Right.
it's too accessible.
But so what you're talking about?
So what I was saying is I feel like social media has created this monster of this idea of glorifying these horrible actions in these horrible people, but the response that it gets, because these people that behave and respond this way are following other people that respond and behave this way. So their algorithms are full of like-minded people. So they are not looking at algorithms full of the people that are mourning and posting scriptures and calling for kindness and goodness. These people, all they're being fed, all they're seeing, their algorithm is full of people, like-minded people. So it is just a constant influx of reinforcing how much popularity and how positive it is to share in these beliefs and to act this way. And so more and more, when these horrible things happen, and it's especially among younger people, I mean, there's older people too, but especially among, younger people, they latch onto it so much that they then emulate it. They do it too. But I do think, not I think, I know that a lot of it is impulse control issues because people will speak out without knowing what the hell they're talking about. Meaning, like there was some Charlie Kirk videos from a while back where they went to college campuses. I think it was Charlie Kirk. It might have been Ben Shapiro, where they went to college campuses and just to prove how little some of these kids knew, but they wanted to be um, liberal, seen as liberal, left wing. And I'm only saying this in the title of, like, if they were on The Bachelor and underneath, it had to have their description of their, the belief system that they were wanting the internet to know that they were for.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because I don't watch Bachelor.
I don't watch. I was trying to think of some,
Never.
whatever. But it's so these kids that want to be lumped into this group,
Right. Okay.
how uneducated they are. So they had, like, I can't remember if it was Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro, but they went and they were like, hey, like, I have a petition. Do you want to sign a petition for 4th trimester abortions? Anybody that doesn't know, 4th trimester abortion would be after the baby is born. They don't know that, though. They just so bad want to be a part of what they think is this righteous movement,
Right.
because it is on social media. They said they follow like-minded people, so their algorithm is full of this. So all these kids are like, oh yeah, and the people, they like kept stone-faced. They're like, because it's a woman's right to choose if an abortion 4th trimester, and they even got to where they were like, like 40 weeks, and they're like, I think it's a woman's right to choose. And it's like, we're saying that we're watching it, like that means like the baby is like the baby is here. They know so little,
Don't squeeze
but
them.
it is kind of like how we say it happens. So like this, those split second things,
You can
the
drink it. You can drink it.
the impact
Don't
that
squeeze
the cause and effect impact that they see it have, in the online community, and the response that it gets, and how it would make them one of the cool kids. So they instantly want to do that. So they will pop off at the mouth. They'll hop online, and the first couple of people that they see that are like, yay, Charlie Kirk is, unalived, then, this is so great. And they're going to go, oh, here we go again. Here's my chance to jump into this. And without thinking, without knowing, they're not thinking about the fact that he is a 31-year-old, that he's a father, that he's, a husband. Their impulse, their dopamine driven response. And this is not an excuse.
Well, this also has to deal with like human nature, where you want to belong in something. When you
Exactly.
when you think that this is the path I want to take, then they're trying to do things to stay there. But also on the other side of social media, where the person that screams the loudest gets the most attention, whether it is correct or not, still gets those followers because they shout it so loud. They keep drumming it over and over and over and over and over again until it is believed to be true.
When
Which does the exact same thing.
It's a psychological fact, but it's a human behavior fact. Yeah. Because when I was in broadcasting school, so I went to broadcasting school to work in radio, they taught us, they're like, you can either, like, if there's a radio station that there are certain ones that if they have a lot of commercials, it's because they are for low budget places that don't have
the content.
Yeah, basically. They don't have that. They're low budget places, so they can't afford longer commercials. And the louder and wilder the commercials are, especially when it comes to car dealerships. Mom, the louder and more flashy the commercials are, the lower quality that is going to be. And so you've got like a Lexus commercial.
That's right.
Where it'll be a 60-second ad, smooth, cruising, whatever. But you got one for like, come down to Stinky Joe's Car Emporium. We sell chili, wedding dresses, rifles, and Subarus. Like, that's lower quality. So these super loud, obnoxious, whatever it is, it's the lower quality. People would say, well, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, all these other guys, they're loud and whatever. They're not.
They're not loud.
They're not loud.
I'm saying
they're not loud.
The other loud is all of
There's loud as in noise,
right.
And then there's loud as in I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right. There's a difference.
And whether you agree with it or not,
That's
there
true.
is a difference between loud, true dialogue, true talking,
Right. Actually,
and then
this is
noise.
Funny. This is funny because it goes along with what we spoke about earlier
I'm like
about
so fired up right now.
impulse control and misdirect. We were talking about misdirect, and that's the same thing that we're talking about now. Unfortunately, yeah, with a little bit of politics is what we're talking about here. But that's exactly what the media does, is the misdirect, which keeps it focused on what they want you to see and
Yes.
talk about.
And this is so for anybody that stumbles across this is not a political page. No, but
Nor are we doctors. And
no,
we can't
we're not.
diagnose your
We're not
ADHD.
doctors either. We do believe what we believe, though. But this is all for us broken down to a strictly human, psychological level. Some of the terms they are political because that's just the only way to phrase them. When I'm like the left, the this, the right, I'm not going to call anybody fascists or commies or anything like that. I do stand firmly behind what you say about the media, and no one can deny this. If they're on the left or the right, the media does control. Look over here while one hand is doing this, one hand is doing that. I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories and all that.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
But just as a strictly, if we were being a bipartisan, keeping with our message of why people do what they do in regards to how our brains work, it is, and it always has been, media, like when it was just radio, when it was whatever, it controls the narrative. And there are, no one can argue this, the highest people in power, I'm not saying president, I'm not saying whatever, the people that are in power do have the say so in what goes out across most of the major airwaves, and have the say so. Not always, there's independent things, but
right.
that can push and go, hey, no, tell everyone they need to be looking over here because we're doing this over here.
Yeah, that, I mean,
what this and this is, I'm not going to go into because this isn't what we're about, and it's just not what we're about. But the only thing I will ever stand firm in is
he doesn't want it. You can drink it.
My religion. No one's ever going to make me change my mind on that. But I'm not going to argue with anybody about that. But that I will defend. But where
are we going with the rest here?
So the rest of this is.
I don't drink that one.
Just go ahead.
So the impulse control, how it plays into that. So it is not. I know it starts when we think impulse control. We started with it's our kids putting peas up their nose, but it goes into even so much more than that because of the neurological. Whoever is watching, thank you so much. I hope somebody else comes and watches this after the fact. But it really does, like the true neurological. Like the neurological and cognitive basis, it is a dysfunction in the prefrontal cortex and your basal ganglia, which means you got something in your brain, legit, that makes it do that.
Yep.
You then, though, because when you know better, you do better.
Yes.
You then have the ability, I don't care who you are, to stop with certain things, extreme things. I do not think that there is any excuse, whether you're neurodivergent or not, if you've been a human in the world long enough to at some point go, you know what? It's not right for me to jump online and celebrate someone is dead. It is not right for me to, some of the horrible things. But it is going to take some input in your life that is not that same stream of nastiness. Because most of us, we have way more, we get more input in our life from our algorithm than we do our surroundings and our friends. And
that is true.
So literally our algorithms are
unless you just stay away from social media. And
Yeah.
put that away for the moment.
Well,
but-
even algorithms, meaning like your Google feed, your everything, because it tracks what you're doing.
Right,
It brings
yes.
up what you're interested in. So it's only going to bring up like-minded people,
Right.
the topics that you believe in. It's not going to bring up
That's true.
stuff that you disagree with, because
Mm.
you're going to swipe off of that really quick.
Yep.
It's a monster that is going to feed you more. And so it's that garbage in, garbage out.
Ugh.
And until someone steps in, if you're lucky enough to have that, and go, hey, you know what? This is pretty unhealthy. How about we, you look at the other side there, can you just stop for a moment? And yes, but that impulse, control playing into just that alone. But then how it, I feel like, were you going to say something? Am I bogarting?
No, I was probably going to respond to my son, but
Oh, just how like the Charlie Kirk thing is what made me think of it, and how people are responding online, and how it is such.
well,
A
what you're saying,
dopamine-driven-
okay, well, that part. But I mean, as far as when I see something so negative like that, I just personally choose that I would never say that, because I would never, I don't feel like that's a way of life to be thinking about somebody,
Not at all.
But that is obviously, that's a personal choice, and I don't know, I can't.
That's why I
can't
say-
speak for anybody else. but-
That's why I
but
say I
personally,
don't.
I'm like,
I don't at all think that
You
it
wouldn't
could
say
ever
that?
be an excuse. A teenager or a very, very young person. That's why I think it's so important for more people that have a platform to speak out, so that they can, the Charlie Kirk or whoever of the world, to speak out and say, or is anybody positive, to try to reach younger people and go, look, there's more ways than just this. Like to have some positivity and morality reach those kids while they're still lost. Because they're rebels, not without a cause, they're rebels without a clue. And like you said, they want to belong. They
Right,
want to
that's
be
right.
part of something. And right now, they are the youths, but I feel like the kids of today, they want to be a part of something important,
Mhm.
but they don't know what that is. And again, I know I keep going back to the word algorithm, but if their food source,
Mhm.
their literally their spiritual, their livelihood, their food source is this disgusting, destructive algorithm of garbage,
Mhm.
and they don't have any clean, if they're only drinking dirty water,
Right.
and they don't have any clean water, nothing is going to change. So I think it's so important for people that have platforms, for those voices to become even louder, to try to reach the kids that they're not stuck in this ideology. They don't even understand of most of the ideology. They just want to be a part of something. And without having anything positive, but also without having, I firmly believe, without having Christ and God in your life, and which will fill that void of, not the whole thing. It will fill that void of wanting to belong on a spiritual level, it does take a while, I think, for on a cognitive immaturity level, for you to then realize that that's all you really need to be whole. Because you still, human connection is a must there.
Right.
I'm trying to articulate this well, because I don't want anyone to come back and say, well, no, once you have Christ, you are whole. Yes, but our stupid little human brains. You peed on the potty? Well, I did earlier. High five, baby love. It's
I was wondering. He's like, wait, yeah, but
anybody that thinks that I'm saying it wrong, you can message me and I'll try to articulate it right. Hopefully my heart is being conveyed the way that I mean it. But it's there's so many kids that are lost. And I think that there needs to be ways. I think that the only word I can think of, the algorithms of the ugly right now is, and I guess the firewall around those algorithms of the ugly is has so much more momentum behind it right now in the United States than the clean water faucet does.
Oh no, that's for sure. No, it definitely does. But
Like the clean water is like the faucet. The dirty water is a fire hose. And until
that's true.
the faucet can start diluting that, I think this monster is going to continue to be fed, which is going to then produce more people like this young kid that did this to Charlie Kirk.
Took someone's life. Right?
Yeah, that the kid that shot up the church school that also wrote on the bullets. It reminds me of when I was in high school. Anybody that graduated, between the years of 96 and 2000 in Garland, you remember every single year somebody at our school committed suicide. They labeled our school suicide high. If you Google my high school now, it's been 25 years. There are all these articles about how it's haunted, how this and that. But what ended up happening is, and all my classmates can tell you, the response to the first one, it became almost like a fad because he just happened to be, he was the first guy that I ever kissed.
Oh, right.
He didn't do it as a result of me kissing him. I want to say that.
Right.
But he committed suicide. He was part of like the goth crowd, and he used to always wear like a bunch of safety pins on his shirts and stuff. Well, people then, his friends, started putting safety pins all over them. Well, then it became a fad. So everyone started doing it because they wanted to be part of that group that was getting the attention for mourning. Then it became,
I think I wanted to do it because I was really bored at whatever I was doing. And I was like, this looks like fun.
I know, this became a thing where it was they're like, it's in honor of Les. But there's people that don't even know him. But then it got to where then another kid did it at school. That got so much attention. People wanted to be part of that group of mourners. And then it became in to say that you were going to kill yourself. Then it became in because people were not thinking that it was a permanent solution to a temporary problem. They were not thinking about the fact that, hey, I can't come back and see how sad people are for me. I'm not going to be able to come back afterwards and go, oh, well, I really was loved. And so there were more kids that killed themselves that I think if there had not been this, it becoming a fad and made to look so appealing or cool that it would have had such an impact. But that dopamine seeking, being lost, wanting to belong, it is an impulse issue. I mean, impulse control thing. When you make that split second decision, not thinking about the consequences, the emulating and imitating, suicide.
Well, even if they said that, like
even just saying it too, but
it was getting them the attention that they wanted.
It was, and it's like you can't, But the same thing with, those who actually are then carrying out unaliving themselves. I think that's what you're supposed to say. I don't think you're supposed to say suicide, whatever, on here, but that is an impulse controlling people, kids not thinking about the eternal, the permanent, oh my gosh,
I'm not sure.
the permanent whatever of their
Outcome?
impulse. Yeah. Their impulse decisions. When people go online and they post these nasty things, I bet afterwards, if someone were to come to them and go, hey, Charlie Kirk's wife saw this, they would feel like shit.
Well, I think they did studies too, that even people
Sorry for cussing.
that are posting is they don't feel. They are treating it like an inanimate object, and like
Yeah.
their words, their super negative and hurtful words, have zero impact on
Exactly.
them because it's not even there.
Because I
in
think
front of them,
because
so.
they're in that, they're being blasted by that fire hose. They're not dry. If they were to come out and just get dry for a second, and then have time to make an educated decision, like, okay, if I have to go back into the water, do I want to go back into this dirty water, or do I want to go? I have so many analogies. I know that's the way
I
my
was like-
brain works. Or go into this clean one, because none of them step out long enough to get dry. If when they were dry and they were not plugged in,
Mm-hmm.
if they were to go, okay, on a human heart level, do you really think, are you really excited that this happened? That they'd be like, no.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
when you confront a bully, like there's so many times that there's been kids, like only once ever in class, and it was in the teens, but there's been, when I would do these huge homeschool events and stuff, there'd be kids that were picking on another kid, and I would go over there and I'd go, dude, did that make you feel good? Like, honestly, did that make you, instead of me going over there and going, look, you little blah, 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 I'd say, you calling her fat. Did it make you feel good to do that? And they're so embarrassed to be called out and to literally
What you
have to
doing,
be
baby?
pulled out of the nasty water
Oh, no, you can't jump. You
can't
do crazy stuff
to
in
get
there, okay?
dry and to
Right.
then have to face their behavior
Mhm.
while they're dry. It's such a dumb, I don't know how else to explain it. But to be faced with their own, to have to face the words
What they had just done.
that left their mouth and their
Right.
actions, and not to be able to just unabashed, just like
Cast it out there and-
without ever being held accountable.
Yeah, right.
That's the other thing. I don't think young people are held accountable nearly enough.
No, definitely not.
Well, adults too.
Right. All right, where else are we going with this?
So the other thing,
My kids are losing it. We're gonna.
oh, sorry. I know. I had so many. I apologize. Whoever is still on here, I appreciate it. The pain thing was the other one. That how it, just like how I could distract kids from when they're feeling the
Put
pain.
that back, please. Right.
People with chronic pain during childbirth, and with stress, with anger, redirection.
Mm-hmm.
And this all just goes back to, I mean, I know I'm going to sound like Mr. Rogers, but there's so much nastiness and awfulness, and the devil is at work so hard right now. I feel like anything that we put out publicly that is going to give people tools or anything at all to make things a tiny bit better, to help to make things good, I'm like, let's do it. I know we don't have a lot of subscribers on here, but just the analytics, when I look at them, because this goes to so many different places,
Right. Yes.
there are thousands of people that see these. So I try to not be like, oh, there's only 9 subscribers. Thousands of people see this. So over however long it takes, hopefully this reaches people so that these little things that these 2 homeschool moms are in a classroom broadcasting out, that they help. So
Yeah.
just the redirection thing that has to do with the impulse control, your anger, your stress, your pain, stepping out of it for just a second, sticking a stick in that bicycle wheel, that spinning bicycle wheel. And it takes a conscious effort, or it might take a good friend. Like, everybody needs a Michelle. No, oh my gosh, the world would be so terrible if there was too many Michelles. Oop, you okay, baby love?
Yeah.
Fell off a yoga ball.
He hit the Christmas tree. Okay.
I don't care.
All right. Here.
There's worse things.
Let's put this back in here.
But being able to, like I said, the only way I can describe it, sticking a stick in that, I'm looking at the wrong thing, in that bicycle wheel that is spinning so fast, and going, okay, how can I make this better in the moment with what I have? How can I de-escalate this? And so whether it is stopping to focus on evaluating what are the actual facts, like if you're in an RSD situation, the rejection sensitive dysphoria situation, if it's stepping back for a moment and using the tool of let me remove myself from this situation,
Yep.
whether it is the tool of let me, when I'm not in the shit, articulate and explain to, like, if there's somebody that you can, like, that you interact with a lot, that you always have a certain problem with, articulate to them when you're not in the middle of it why you do certain things.
Right, like walking away, giving them, hey, I have to do this when I to take
Yeah,
that
or
pause. Like you
like
have
say-
to give them you have to give them that.
Yeah, or like say you and I are married. Oh, you would love that. No, you and I are married, and one of the big issues that we have is conflict resolution. Because I'm bad about this, when we get in a fight, I shut down
Mm-hmm.
and I get quiet, and I either leave the house or I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
But this goes back to attachment
I, well,
styles.
it's funny. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I would be labeled
I get
more,
quiet until I'm like
more an avoidant.
What just happened? Wait, what?
more an avoidant attachment. Avoidance usually end up with anxious. So then, but let's say in this case, you're the partner that is the anxious. Why
won't you talk to me then?
exactly.
Yep.
So
That's right. I had to think about. I was like,
while
what should
you're
I say?
in the thick of the shit,
Mhm.
we're in the argument. The anxious is going to bro. The anxious is going to want to chase and go, why won't you talk to me? Why won't you, I need you to talk this out right now.
Right.
Why
That's
are
right.
you being so hateful? 99.999%
You're
of the
like, you just
time,
shut down and you can't.
you're
even
going to
say-
be called a narcissist. I don't know of a single avoidant type attachment person that has not been called a narcissist.
We have to be
It's-
very careful with that word for the true ones that are out there.
Yeah, there's a difference between. There's a whole.
Watch out,
I
Sasha.
have to do a whole other. Please don't hit me with that yoga ball. But anyway, so when you're so we're in the middle of the fight. Like we said before, it has to do with processing, has to do with being neurodivergent.
Yeah, which is,
If I get pissed off, unless you are somebody that is going to go with your impulse control, like let it fly and go, let that instant like rage, be nasty, yell, scream, say whatever comes to your mind. If you have the self-control to not do that,
Mhm.
and you choose instead, like your initial response is, I'm going to shut down. I need to remove myself. I cannot deal with this. The instant conflict or too much emotion or too much anything, overwhelms you. Your nervous system goes, F this noise,
It
shuts
does.
down.
it does. It's like
So by you then
Checked out.
going silent or considered cold or dismissive, I've gotten called all of these things. The anxious person
again.
is then going to come after you even harder, which then is going to feel like you're being
Attacked?
smothered
attacked.
and attacked. Yes, and like I said, as I'm saying this, there was the situation earlier where I was this person, and I look back and I'm like, I would vomit and punch myself in the face. Like, that was looking back. I'm like, that is not me. I don't know why I keep going back to that, but yes, being in this position though, where I will shut down. I will, but it's not because. It's because you are choosing, you don't have it in you, or you've overcome
I'll have to.
that behavior of I'm going to pop off, I'm going to be nasty, but instead you're like, I just can't. And so you just,
Oh well,
You leave,
I can't say I'd
you
ever
shut
be
down.
like, oh, nasty and stuff, but yeah, I'm like, nope, can't talk to you.
most of the time, like I said, you just shut down.
Mhm.
That's going to drive the other person insane. So what I say to avoid any of that, talking about going back to the impulse control thing, is when you're not in the thick of it, when you are in a good place, not like, hey, we're driving around, let me ruin our day by
Okay.
talking about how we fight.
Do some
But
cleanup, find your drawing
being
book.
like, look,
Where is that?
I know this is what you need from me when we have a disagreement. But I need to tell you, this is why I behave the way that I do. But it's also going to take you understanding
Right,
why
well,
you
that
behave.
takes obviously
Which
that
means
takes
you
a
watch-
lot longer.
You watch our videos, and we will teach you about yourself. And yeah, or you meet somebody like me that will be like,
That's what you're doing. Oh,
I've got you analyzed in 5 seconds. I can't do it with everybody. But like, I can tell you why you do this, this, and this, and this, and I'm not going to make you feel like shit about it, but I am going to bring it to your attention.
well,
But yeah, if when it's in a good,
have to wrap it up.
we'll wrap it up. So I'm going to do a whole. I just have so many. I don't know what got me going, but yeah. It all goes back to impulse control, but communication when you're not in the thick of this explaining, whether it's your coworker, your friend, your spouse, your girlfriend, your whatever, explaining, look, this is how my mind works. This is why I respond this way. When you respond the way that you do, it pisses me off. It pushes me away. It overwhelms my nervous system. It makes this happen. But if you can't talk about it when you're both dry, then nothing is ever going to change. But the other person, both of you have to then be willing to, once you acknowledge and you recognize it, then respect that about the other person and come to agreements on how to meet in the middle, how to be better. But that it all goes back to, I said, dopamine, impulse control, put in that spoke in the bicycle wheel. If you're having, like, if you have chronic pain and you're in the middle of a really bad time, not to say like, oh, this is going to help you not have pain anymore, but redirect of, okay, I can either sit here and just think about how much pain I'm in.
Yeah, it makes the pain bigger, stronger.
Increasing your cortisol, which will make it worse. Focusing on pain will often cause hypertension because your cortisol is going to go up, your blood pressure is going to go up, everything's going to go up. Not saying that everything is mental, but your mental state, learning how to control your mind. And this is not in a like hootie, whatever, like, okay, but learning how your mind works, especially when you're neurodivergent, and having a few tools in your toolbox to redirect and take the focus off of one thing. Because like I said, cognitively, your brain cannot do too many things at once.
Right, that's true.
So kind of like if you've ever been driving in the car and like, this is gonna sound so dumb. You're in the car and all of a sudden it hits you. You're like, oh my gosh, I've got to poop. But you are hoping that you will make it home. You're like trying to distract yourself. You're like, if you'll pinch your arm, anything to redirect. You're like, I'm gonna listen to this music. I'm gonna turn the air on in my face, so that it's all mental redirects. So if you are somebody that like deals with chronic pain or something, just as a secondary tool, instead of sitting and having to be like, oh my gosh, this hurts, my leg hurts so much, my shoulder, my back, whatever hurts so much. Using the little tools as anything to make things better, and using a redirect.
It really does work, but it's so hard, and we're so used to just being like, oh no, just to stay the same, even in that little small, like, I totally get what you're saying, and it's so true. It is possible to change some of these things, but it is extremely hard. But of course, it's like, okay, well, how do I do that, and how do I keep going? And it's yep.
Okay, trying to put out some most positive. I know you got to go with the kids. I think I am before I leave. I'm gonna do the little Michelle Legs Thomas. No, my God, so gross.
Love it.
Do a little thing. Really, I can't believe you said that. I'm gonna wear like what's it called? A burqa? Is that the long thing? Whatever.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Anyway, Especially, well, I gotta say, I'm looking.
No, it's good. You got
I'm
great
looking
legs.
super cute. I got
You got great
I got
legs.
knee-high boots on today. I'm
Well,
like,
but you were like, the guy that said that, I was like, okay,
that guy was so gross. He was ugly too, but that was nasty of me to say. That was mean of me to say. But he was, and he said something gross, so I don't even care. Yeah, I'm gonna do the things. I'm gonna put like a couple of the tools
definitely.
really quick, and I'll make it a reel. So it'll be on our Instagram. Well, I'll put it on here too.
Yeah,
we
we
went,
should
like,
because
so-
you could probably put the link
Yeah,
or link to the other, or I don't know.
yeah. So,
All right, well then we better.
Yes, I just put your pin in my mouth. I'm so sorry. I hope this isn't one that like impulse control you've had in your butt crack.
No,
You're like, I want to see what would happen.
no. I mean,
Like, it's stuck in there.
I do put them in my mommy pocket.
Yeah,
So,
this is my mommy pocket right here.
That's
That's what Matt said. I'm just kidding. Whoops. Who said that? Who's here? All right. I'm Michelle.
I'm Lindsay.
ADHD How To.
WTF?
Thank you for watching. Whoever
next
was
time.
there, we love you.
How long?
An hour.
1, 2.